Welcome back to another episode of Jacket Sports Weekly. I'm Mia Hinkins.
And I'm Tyler Aaron, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different.
In this week's episode, we're sitting down with various athletes who played in winter sports.
Today on Jacket Sports Weekly, we'll be sitting down with Kyle Casella, Ella Rishell, Kalista Friday, Clara Paige Miller, PJ Suggs, Jaylen Davis, and Jessie Orbin.
So sit back and relax and enjoy this special Athletes Edition episode on Jacket Sports Weekly.
Welcome to Jacket Sports Weekly, Waynesburg University's weekly sports show where we cover the best of the best in athletics. Our analysts discuss a multitude of highlight plays such as touchdown passes.
And Barber's going to throw again, one-on-one. Does he got it in him? That's a catch! Tyler Richmond with flags thrown everywhere makes the catch! Touchdown Waynesburg!
And ones.
This was low, Waynesburg's going to get it! Suggs is going to pull away here, go for the layup, and it's going to fall in and one! PJ Suggs!
And home runs.
Higgins drives one to left field. The left fielder running back, and that ball is out of here. Grace Higgins.
Join us every Wednesday to see what's new in Waynesburg University athletics.
Hello everyone, welcome back into JSW. I'm Ethan Spazarski here for our first interviews of our athlete panel episode. I'm joined with our indoor track and field stars, Miss Ella Rishell, Mr. Kyle Casella. Guys, welcome onto the panel. Glad to have you here. But first, we'll start with my individual questions. Ella, starting with you. Last year, you were able to place 31st in the Mid-Atlantic region in the triple jump, and then 8th in the PACs last year in the 200-meter event. Now this year, because I have to read it because there's so much from the Bob Shannon Invitational, you placed 5th in the 200-meter event. Then you also had the 3rd fastest time in team history. Then you converted that as being the number two per athlete to run the 200 meters in the PAC, as well as logging the number 3 time in the 400-meter event. How do you range from setting the bar so well your freshman year, now your sophomore, you're raising it that much higher?
I'd have to say I did a lot of work in the weight room this year, and also just being an AT almost every single day, getting my tendonitis under control. But I also took the time to realize that I can't keep joking around like I was last year. So I took things a lot more seriously this year, and I really just prayed about it a lot this summer and just dedicated to keep myself healthy and keep myself in a good mental space to compete. And so I set the expectation to break the school record in the 400 this year, and I did that way earlier than I expected to. I broke it at our first meet this season, but my hope is to just continue to climb higher now that indoor is going to be finishing up on Thursday, and just really taking it and exceeding my own expectations in outdoor, since that's the real season, with hopes that we break a lot of records. I'm hoping to break the 200 and the 400 record this year.
So moving over now to Kyle, for you as well have continued to better yourself from your freshman to sophomore year. But for you as a mid-distance runner in those longer events, how do you acclimate yourself or get yourself in that right space for running those long-term events and being able to consistently be a top performer?
You know, I think it's mostly from the change in training I've had from high school to college. I did not run cross country in high school until my senior year. So now coming into college at Waynesburg, running cross country, that's helped me a lot with improving on the 400 and 800, which are my main events for indoor. And that's just given me a base that I can build off of, definitely, just to handle those longer events well. I've improved from high school to now, and I can credit most of it to that and just the coaches here understanding how I work as an athlete. So.
Now, transitioning over, you both kind of alluded to it. I mean, and these next couple questions, either of you are more than welcome to answer. I mean, for you kind of alluded to it, the indoor season's kind of like the preseason for getting ready for outdoor season. That's where a lot of the events take place, where your mind goes. So how do you prepare? Well, how does this help you prepare, I should say, for the outdoor season? What does it do really well, and maybe what does it lack?
I think it lacks the element of outdoors. Like, we don't have to deal with the wind or cold temperatures or rain during indoor, but a lot of indoors preparation in your reaction time, block work, your skill sets, and just really focusing on your technique so that when you move towards outdoors, you already have a pretty strong baseline, and then you can further that by adding in actual real life elements like the weather.
Yeah, she pretty much hit it spot on. I mean, my main event in the spring is 400 hurdles, so that's not offered indoors, but that's why I train for the 400 and the 800 indoors just to get ready for that. And then it also supplements with the relay. But yeah, indoors it's mostly it's the same environment, it's like the same temperature, no wind, no anything that like makes it harder to run, I guess. Like you're not gonna be like WVU last year was like 30 degrees. Like, so that's the nice part, but at the same time, also, like, I can accredit this just like the air sometimes. You just like, I'll run the 400, I'll be like coughing a lung up afterwards. So, I mean, there's just differences, but it definitely gets me ready for outdoors, especially just to help me train the events that will make me be better in my main event, the 400 hurdles outdoors.
So also kind of going off that, PACs coming up for the indoor season, they're right around the corner, and then you're quickly, adapting that outdoor season. Is it kind of like with the indoor season with this PACs, you're okay with kind of getting a lay of the land before you really step into it? Or is there maybe a different mindset of indoors to outdoors for the championships?
I know a couple people definitely take outdoor a bit more serious than indoor, but I will say everybody around championships time is usually super hyped up. I think that's the most team-like experience that we have because we're also excited to see how far everyone's come since the beginning. But I will say the transition to outdoor, it's like, okay, this is my last chance to get like a good stat for the year, and then I know what I need to fix for outdoor. And it leaves you that little bit of room where you have that 10-day break to be like, okay, I need to work on this season, and you get to meet with coach and plan it out and then really just tweak those small things throughout the outdoor season.
It's championship season, so like you got to give it all you got for the because it's the championship meet for indoors. But you also have that seed in your mind that outdoors is still coming up, and you can still have more to give. But just because that is the case doesn't mean you don't want to give it all you have just because it is championship season.
So, and I alluded to this earlier, both right now current sophomores at Waynesburg, and you're nearing that halfway point of completing your collegiate careers in track and field. How do you feel where you are right now compared to where you've been when you started as a freshman for both of you? How do you feel your progression has been?
I think my times have gotten a lot better since my freshman year. I've improved in relatively all my events. So I believe that that's a good track for further progression eventually to score in events that might not be my main event as well, like the Open 400. So I think that's helped a lot. Just new coaching to help me adapt and improve as well. So
I think that I also have greatly improved since last year, but I'm also not fighting several respiratory illnesses at once this year. But I definitely have come a long way from where I was last year, both mentally and physically, and having been able to overcome the mental blocks that I set for myself. It was kind of one of those things where, like, as a freshman, you're like, wow, these people are so much older than me. I have to prove myself, and then you end up getting stuck. And this year I really just said, it is what it is. I'll have good meets, bad meets, but at the end of the day, I gave it my all and I competed.
Alrighty, and then my final question for the both of you right now is something else. Both seasons, track and field's a little bit of a unique situation because it's pretty much, it's overall the same, but also the coaching staff is the exact same. How does that benefit you in your training as well, to have the same coaching staff, no real severe changes there, and those people being with you all year for indoor and outdoor?
It gets a bit frustrating at times because you end up knowing each other so well that you butt heads a bit, but it is really nice to consistently be with the same person because you're able to realize, oh, well, he knows everything that I do wrong and can probably critique me rather than some random person just walking in one season. I do know on the jump side, though, it's been a little harder. We got a new jump coach, so trying to let him figure out how we work as athletes and also figure out how he works as a coach has been a bit of a struggle, but we're hitting the point now where we're all starting to improve and we're all figuring out how to work cohesively together.
I've had a good relationship with Coach Hardy and Coach Lubitsch so far. I think having a good relationship with them just because of how long, it's been 2 years and I don't think they're going to leave anytime soon. Just having that relationship, it's good to have just for being able to trust them, to trust me, and help work with each other so I can become the best athlete I am.
All right. Well, Kyle and Ella, thank you very much for taking time to come up to the fourth floor and talk to me today. But don't go anywhere, because coming up next, Joe Schrill is going to sit down with Kalista Friday and Clara Paige Miller from the women's basketball team.
Welcome back to Jacket Sports Weekly for the second segment. I'm Joe Schrill here to break down the women's basketball season here at Waynesburg. The Lady Jays ended their season on high after Alumni Day and Senior Day, celebrating Rayleigh Furlong and Madison Dayton, who won the Women's Waynesburg Athlete of the Week after their victory against Teal 75-63, ending their season 14-11 overall, being the first winning season since 2018, and then going 9-11 in the conference, being 7th in the President's Athletic Conference. We are very excited to break it all down here with Clara Paige Miller, or CP, as we like to say, and Kalista Friday here. We're going to get right into the questions. Let's jump right in. After not being a starter on the court this season, you were able to still make a large impact offensively around the arc, and then defensively in the rebounding category. How will this transition going into next season?
I definitely think being able to contribute as both a guard and a forward increased my confidence. It made me feel like more comfortable on the court. So I think just going into next year, I'll be able to build on that and improve on both skill sets so I can be more versatile.
Building that confidence is what you were able to do best, and then continued to do well here with Kalista Friday. You were starting the season on the bench and then transitioned into that starting role. How did that happen for you?
So I feel like coming in as a transfer, I kind of had to get to know the system that Coach Jones wanted. And I feel like last year I started to find my way. Then halfway through this year, I began to find what he wanted of me. So I think that's a big part.
Definitely a big part of it, and it continued there with the aggression, and the aggression you had with the rebounds and steals was kind of your forte, as we had that as well with Tori Wesolowski and Maddie Dayton, who sadly will be departing from the team. But do you want others to follow in that path of aggression, or maybe be more passive on the court?
I definitely think we want to be an aggressive team. I think anyone who's out there wants to get those rebounds, get those steals. We want to have as many possessions as possible. So, I would definitely encourage my teammates, and they already do for the most part, but to just get after it, and that's the team that we want to be.
Continuing to get those possessions will really help with the three-point arc strategy that's really been going from last season into this season. And now, Kalista, are we going to continue to see that? Is the team going to live and die by the three, or should they find a different technique?
I mean, the three ball will always be there for us, I think. But it's never a bad thing to expand your game. And I feel like as we have gotten older, you've kind of seen that. The guards have grown a lot, and we've kind of changed up our style of play, not just all three balls. So, hopefully next year we'll get more versatile with that.
And with this team being a lot younger, they're able to have that development and connections on and off the court. Do you guys see that in the locker room, outside of the locker room? Bring us down.
Yeah, for sure. Last year obviously wasn't the best season, but we grew together this year, and you see more of the outcome through that, a winning season, and the first time since 2018. So hopefully we can just keep growing together, and it builds a solid foundation for sure.
Yeah, I think we all have such a great relationship off the court. So we've been able to grow both on and off the court. We get along really well, and that translates into practice. We know how far to push each other. I'm excited to build on it for next year and just keep getting better.
You guys mentioned the struggles of the previous season before this season, and how it was pretty much down at the bottom of the pack, literally. And in this case, you've been able to really transition this year. So what was the goal going into the season, and what was the team able to achieve that goal?
Yeah, I know one of our goals was for sure to be over 500, and that was a good goal for us to have, and we achieved that. And I feel like just to get us going, we had to get one pack win, just one big win, and Grove City was a big one for us to get our confidence. So that was just a team goal to improve in the pack, and I think we did that. So.
Anything to add on top?
No, I think it was a big step for us, to be in the winning column to end the season, and that'll definitely give us a good start for next season to build on that and make more than 50%.
Is there any team goals that you guys have in mind that you want to bring up? Maybe the team has already discussed some goals going into next season, and then what are your personal goals going into next season?
For the team, I think that our goal should ultimately to go on a little run in the tournament. I feel like the tournament has to be there for us. It's kind of a bust if we don't make it next year. So that's definitely one goal for the team. And personally, I would say to improve my shooting percentage. I kind of fell off with that towards the end of the year, so definitely going to get shots up this summer and just continue to get stronger and faster. So.
Yeah, as a team, I think definitely what Kalista said. We want to make the playoffs, and we want to make a run on that. We don't want to just be one and done. We want a shot at the championship. So we're going to be seniors, and we have some really strong sophomores and juniors too. So I think that's our next step. Personally, I would agree also on what Kalista said. I want to, up my agility, my speed, so I can be kind of a quicker post with more versatility. So.
One of the things that was kind of touched on a little bit, at least a lot here in Jacket Sports Weekly, is that the third quarter in the previous season used to be something that was a little hard for the women's team to get into, and it kind of transitioned a little differently into the third quarters of this year, especially into the conference play. For you guys, did you see that going into a lot of this conference play games, or was it one thing that you kind of just saw happen?
I think that third quarter we struggled with so much, like you said, and it just came to a play where in the locker room we were like, we cannot afford a bad third quarter. So I think just putting our heads down, gritting it out, realizing that we're not going to let this happen again. It happened for too many games where we kind of sold in the third quarter. So I think enough was enough, and we were just kind of all tired of not winning.
Yeah.
I feel like ultimately it came down to having confidence, coming out of the locker room from last year, we were expected to lose technically. So I feel like we had to change our mindset into we can win, and we are a better team than last year, and we're going to continue to be better. So that was a big step with breaking the third quarter.
Breaking the third quarter is what you guys were able to do quite well. The confidence has been boosted a lot in a lot of the fans, and especially in your guys' team. So I thank you guys very much for sitting down with us. Kalista and CP, thank you guys very much. That's going to do it all for us in this segment. Next, we're heading over to men's basketball with Benicio DeFalco, joined by PJ Suggs and Jaylen Davis.
Unable to watch the live stream? Follow our account on X for live updates on the game. Check us out on Instagram as well for game day posts with all the information you need to know, as well as behind the scenes of each production. Our social media team works the hardest to give the best content to all of our audience. We're even on TikTok. You can stay up to date with WCTV on our Instagram account with clips from each of our shows. And last but not least, subscribe to our WCTV YouTube channel to watch those shows in full length. Check us out from Lewiston, WCTV, and the entire Department of Comm.
Welcome back into Jacket Sports Weekly. I'm Benicio DeFalco. Join with me, PJ Suggs and Jaylen Davis. The men's basketball season just wrapped up on an 8-game losing streak, being eliminated from the playoffs. However, what were some positives you both took from the season?
So one of the positives I took was just honestly being able to hang out and finish the season with my teammates. Even though we were going through a rough patch with the losing streak, we all kept each other positive. We all stayed together through most of it. So yeah, that was probably what I took from it.
My takeaway would have to be the camaraderie between the teammates. Even though the season wasn't the best and we're not in the playoffs, the friendships and memories that we created along the way will always stick with me.
Yeah, you spoke on some of the relationships you've built here at Waynesburg, but you guys both coming in from Terrace State, you guys both transferred to a school and have played all 4 years together. What has been the relationship you two have built together?
I mean, yeah, this is like my brother, honestly. Like, my best friend. I can go to him for anything. And, yeah, I feel like basketball just has created that brotherhood and made us really locked in.
Well, coming in as a freshman at a junior college, me and PJ already knew each other. So, you know, we just kind of rolled on from high school and AAU into college. And I feel like from the beginning we were already clicking because we had the goal of getting out of a junior college and starting at a better university, which is Waynesburg. But, you know, I love PJ. He's my guy. And, yeah, I'm very grateful for him.
So, PJ, question for you personally. You 4 points per game last season, now up to 13. What were some of the things you worked on in the offseason?
So at the end of the season, last year I got hurt. So honestly, just like when I was playing hurt, I wasn't able to move. I wasn't able to play like myself. So honestly, I just focused on my health and then mentally just going out there and just playing, just making the right reads, not trying to overthink anything.
So you guys have spoke on the relationships you guys have built through the hard times this season. How are you guys able to stay positive and kind of stick together as a group?
Well, a lot of that came from the outside of basketball. We all hung out, we all got shots up together, we all were in the weight room together, and during that time, we had a good time doing it. So that kind of still morale the team to like not give up, to keep playing and keep going out there and giving your all. But yeah, it's just a grind that we all share. We all had a common goal to get better despite what the record showed.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have brought in 7 transfers this season that saw playing time. You guys also transferred in just a season ago. It seemed like the relationship was always there with those guys. Was that kind of built in the off season?
I mean, yeah, again, like he said, in the preseason, we all were always together almost every day, getting shots up, working out, just hanging out outside of basketball, just having fun. So, yeah.
So for you, Jaylen, you and Anton Baker, one of the best backcourts in the PAC. Explain your relationship with that guy?
Man, where do I start? That guy, he gets to it. Like his work ethic, his hustle, his will to want to outplay everybody just kind of matched mine. So that's why we kind of like clicked, because we both had like that drive to want to be better than everybody that we played against.
So you guys are both seniors and graduating. Explain kind of your experience here at Waynesburg in the 2 seasons.
Honestly, I had a great experience overall. I mean, we went to the playoffs the first year. Second year wasn't as good, but I still made a lot of friendships, a lot of brothers. I still just enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with PJ here. First year, unbelievable atmosphere. Just coming from an old school to a new school was just a big adjustment, but everything just kind of went over so smoothly here, and I'm just so grateful for it.
So you guys are both leaving in the off season. What are kind of the expectations for the underclassmen, and do you have any message for those guys overall?
Well, me personally, my message is the guys know what we want to do. They know how the system works, and they know how to play within the system. But it's ultimately on them to put the work in, because they know how Tim Fusino wants to play. They know how Waynesburg basketball works. So it's always on them to put in the work.
Thank you guys for coming on the panel. Thank you to PJ Suggs and Jaylen Davis and all the athletes who have came on to this point. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's time to talk men's wrestling with Anthony DeFilippo and Jessie Orbin.
I'm working here.
My bad.
Welcome back to the final segment of Jacket Sports Weekly, our athletes panel talking men's wrestling with PAC champion Jessie Orbin. Jessie, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So talk about that to start off with, your PAC championship, an 11-2 major decision in the final round. What was your mindset going into the tournament, and then how did it feel to win?
Going in, honestly, my mindset is every tournament, I'm going to win it because I'm the best wrestler. Like, that's just anything I do in life is I'm the best. I'm going to do my best, the best of my ability. Dropping 10 pounds was a difference, going in my first tournament, going down to 174. Felt good, though. Felt good on my leg attacks. I was, obviously a major decision, so it was a pretty dominant win. And, you can't ask much more than that.
The season as a whole, you went 39-4 with 3 tournament titles. What do you think has been the biggest factor behind your success in your sophomore year?
Honestly, the biggest thing is my practice partner, JT. He's my guy, he's my best friend. We do a lot together. We wrestle every day together. Seth, another practice partner I had, Seth Evans, he pushes me every day. He is an incredible pace, and that's how I lose most of my weight with Seth. And then Coach McKinney, he's elevated me to a different level.
I heard you mention Seth Evans, the senior. There are several seniors on this team this year that have graduated and are graduating in a couple of weeks. Talk about them and kind of the impact that they've had on your time here at Waynesburg.
Honestly, they're my brothers, man. Like Aiden, he's guided me in a way that it's just made me a better person. He's just a crazy, like everything he does is just go forward, and he has a great attitude every day. Aiden's one of my best friends, and then Seth, he's guided me more than he thinks. He looks up to me a lot, but I look up to him a lot more because he is a senior, and he's been doing it, and he works hard every single day, and there's nothing better than that.
You also alluded to Coach McKinney. Talk about his impact, obviously the PAC Coach of the Year this year.
I can't say enough about McKinney, man. He took me from just an average wrestler in high school to this wonderful wrestler in college. Like, he's elevated my game astronomically. Like, what he does for us as a coach and then as a father figure is just amazing. Like, he does so much for just me in general. Like, I can go to him about anything in this world, and he would have my back 100%.
Now, you're not done yet. What's the key to staying focused as you go throughout the rest of the postseason now?
Keep the weight under control and keep pushing forward, keep the snowball rolling, man. Going into the PAC tournament, dropping weight for the first time was tough, but we got through that. We won the title, and then going into this region, I'm already ranked 7th at 174, so I'm ready to keep this ball rolling. I'm ready to win a regional title.
Looking forward, you have obviously 2 more years left at college. What are some of the goals that you're going to look to accomplish in the off season?
So in the off season, I definitely plan on hitting the weight room a lot, trying to get a lot bigger. A lot of these dudes are a lot stronger than me, but they're not more technical than me. So technique always beats strength. But I really want to wrestle U20s. I want to try and qualify for the world team. I think that'll be one of my goals, and then just stay wrestling and stay moving.
Now, when you talk about technique, what does that mean as somebody here who's probably an amateur as far as wrestling goes?
So technique is the small things. Every minute detail matters. It's just, this isn't just take a shot and take them down. This is where your hand placement is, how your head placement is, using your ear, using everything, hand fighting and foot fighting at the same time. Like, it's a lot. It's just not a simple procedure.
Now, you also talked about dropping a weight class at the PAC Championships. Is that something you expect to do now heading in to the postseason here?
Yeah, so we decided as a team, or as me and McKinney decided, that 174 is a better shot for me to All-American at 174. Not that I couldn't at 184, because it doesn't matter where I'm at, I'm going to go get it. It's just 174 is more wide open.
Jessie, I appreciate you for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season and heading into the postseason and then the future as well. Make sure to stay tuned to Jacket Sports Weekly as well as WCTV's YouTube page for more content.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.